Hello, everyone. Welcome to day four of Meet Yourself Again. Well over the halfway mark at this point. Well over the halfway mark. And I'm so excited to have you join me for the fourth day. Thank you to everyone who's been coming every single day. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to feel that you're talking to people, not just to yourself out into the vast emptiness of the internet. So thank you again for joining me. I'm Jennifer Walker, your business alignment coach. And today we're going to talk about committed decisions and habits for success. So we've done a lot of setting up in terms of clarity, figuring things out, examining, reflection, really taking the time to look at the type of blocks we might be having. Now it's time to take action. But before we get into that, the same way that we start every day, sitting in our space, feet flat on the floor. If you'd like to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, rolling your shoulders up to your ears, and exhale as they roll down. That's one of my favorite parts of this. Now just bringing some awareness to your breath. How does your breath feel today? Does it feel tight? Or is it easy? How far down into your body does it go? Relaxing your face muscles, your jaw. And relaxing the muscles around your eyes, which sometimes can hold a lot of tension, especially if you're towards the end of your week on your computer screen. Let's send a little love to your eyes. Thanks, eyes. You've been working really hard this week, and we appreciate you. Feeling the support underneath you on the chair, the couch, or wherever you're seated. Bring some mindfulness to your spine. And if it feels good for you, just swaying a little bit. Bringing some movement to your spine. It's also been working very hard this week. And lastly, bringing attention to the soles of your feet. Are they relaxed into the floor? Are you able to relax them further? Maybe doing a gentle ankle roll to relieve any tension that might be there. And taking one more deep breath in, rolling your shoulders up to your ears. And exhale, rolling them back down. Ooh, that's a few crunches and crackles in there myself. And when you're ready, wiggling those toes, those fingers, and slowly fluttering your eyes open. Welcome. Welcome into the moment. So you've spent some time presumably looking through the PDF, and we'll be putting and by we, I mean myself and my VA Denise, who's in the background. Thank you, Denise, for being here again today with me. And we'll be putting the link in there again so that you can download the PDF if you choose to. And now it's about reflecting a bit some more on that current behavior that I had you reflect on. I think it was day 1. And what you reflected on in terms of your goals, day 2. And looking at that current behavior. So what's happening right now in your current behavior? When you look at your calendar, what does it look like? Do you have a calendar? First of all, if you have one, this exercise will be a lot easier. If you don't have one, take some time to write down sort of where you've been in the past week, where you were the week before, the past month, if you can remember. Where have you spent a lot of your time? And if you were looking at that objectively, what does that mean? You're looking at where you're spending your time, how much of your time you're spending doing work on your business versus in your business, how much time you're spending taking care of your health, if that's part of your goals in terms of your personal goals, which it is for a lot of people. So how much time are you spending there, exercising, preparing meals that are healthy for yourself, potentially also your family? Look at your current behavior and does it reflect your goals? It's a simple question. It's kind of humbling. Have you looked at your calendar yet? Have you examined it? I'd love to know. You can post in the comments there. The other place to look, the other place where there's clues is your bank account. Do you have a checkbook that you can go back through? Do you want to look at some online statements? Are the places that you're spending your money is energy, are the places that you are spending your money in support of your goals? Do they reflect your goals? Because this is part of your behavior, your spending habits. So if one of your goals is to eat healthier, are there a couple more fast food charges on there than you'd like to see? No judgment, just asking. It's just about reflecting. If you are trying to buy a house and you are spending a lot of money on things that are impulse purchases, things that you don't actually want that bad, things that are not intentional purchases. I like to call them investments personally. So whenever I go to buy something, not all the time, but most of the time, the question that I'll ask myself is, do I really want to invest in this? It's such a mind frame shift on that for you. Do I want to invest in this rather than do I want to buy this? Buying is not a commitment to the item or the service that you are going to be purchasing. So that's a question. Have you ever used those terms before? I'd love to know. In terms of once you've gone through that, going back to your goals and figuring out what your one thing was. So that was something that I had you do on day 2, circling that one thing, the one item, the one goal that will make everything else, or as many things as possible, either obsolete, so it takes care of them, or easier. So for example, one of the easiest ones is to up your income, because a lot of items that you probably have on your goal list cost some money, and that you want to invest in costs money. So the one thing that you can do is to increase your income. Now, you might not know, again, how to do this at this point. It's possible that you don't know how you're going to do that. But knowing that that's your one goal starts to narrow the field as to how you're going to do it. Starts to narrow your focus so that you can start to create that path for yourself. Once you make a decision on that, once you make a decision on where you're going to proceed, like which path you're going to take, what the one thing is, and you make a committed decision to invest your time and your energy into it, things start to flow. Have you ever noticed that before? Once you've made a decision for something, things start to flow a little bit better. I'd love to know if that's the case. You don't have to be specific, but let me know in the comments. It doesn't always feel this way, but I believe that everything that you are seeking is also seeking you. And that can be humbling to hear, but it can also make some people upset to hear. Because if I've been seeking these things, how come they haven't found me yet? So if that's something that comes up for you when I say that, start to dig in internally as to why that's happening. And reaching out and asking for help if you can't figure that out is a really great exercise and investment in yourself and your progress and your growth. Someone says, if you believe it, you can achieve it. 100%. If you believe it, you can achieve it. I totally agree with that statement. The difficulty lies in the belief part. A lot of people have trouble with the belief part, and we talked about that in terms of your goals and whether you believe that you can do it, whether you are willing to take the action, which is about today. We're taking that action, and whether or not you believe you deserve it. Because that's a different stem in belief, right? You have the belief of I can achieve this versus the belief of do I deserve this? So that's a little bit of a clarifying point, a clarifying question. So yes, if you believe it, you can achieve it, but you also need to believe you deserve it. Does that make sense? Check in with yourself, because sometimes I find that to be a stumbling block of people believing they can do something but not always believing they deserve that something. So, yes, thank you. Yeah, whether you believe you deserve it. It's an important point for sure. And one of the things, that investment of energy that we're talking about, one of the things there is what I have found has been called in the past by metaphysicians. So, if you don't know this, years ago, in mostly North America, mostly the States, there were groups of people that called themselves metaphysicians. So, you have people like Neville Goddard, you have people like Florence Scovel Shinn, you have Earl Nightingale, who was the mentor of Bob Proctor. You have all these people who have gone through this, some along the religious vein, some just in a more spiritual, energetic vein, that studied how the universe works, the universal laws. I have books and books and books on all these different things. Wallace Wattles, like all these universal law studiers. And one of my favorite ones, because she's one of the few female ones, is Florence Scovel Shinn. And she was a self-titled metaphysician. And she would have people come to her with their issues. They would talk through it. And she was basically a mindset coach, really tuned into the universe. So I really vibe with her. And one of the things that she would do is she would have her clients make demonstrations. So we're talking about action, and a lot of times we're doing very intentional actions off of a to-do list. And sometimes we also need to incorporate in that demonstrations that are off of a more energetic list. So making a demonstration can be a very small item. One of the things that I did when I first set up my business was to purchase a a folder, and actually I have it right here. And it's super shiny and it's a bit battered, and it says Conquer from Within on it, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff in it still because I still use it. But it, to me, having this was a demonstration. It was a demonstration on more than one level. It was a demonstration to me because feels very professional to have this when you walk into a meeting. To me, there we go. When you walk into a meeting, that's made me feel professional. And the other thing about it, it is shiny. So it is shiny. I'm not going to lie. Like 9-year-old me was like, have you ever heard of Lisa Frank? She did all those unicorn dolphin drawings back in the 90s. And it made me think of that. And this little squeal of joy came up when I saw it. The other thing is when I walk into a meeting with this, immediately I'm filtering out people. So it was a very intentional purchase. So this was a demonstration to me that I meant business. It was like a $30 demonstration to me that I meant business. And then my lovely husband made a demonstration as well. He didn't realize it at the time, but he made a demonstration and he bought me this custom pen, which I keep in there. It's custom. And what I mean by custom is this color. He took my business card to a pen maker at the Ottawa Farmers Market, pens and other items, and had them match as close as they could the color of my pen to my branding. So very intentional purchase. Now, is it an investment in my business in terms of the traditional sense of an investment where you buy a computer, where you buy equipment, where you buy all these things? Not really. Not like that, but it is a significant energetic investment. And it was a demonstration for me to do that. It was a demonstration of my belief that I could succeed. So think about ways that you can demonstrate to yourself what your vision is, demonstrate your belief or the feeling that you deserve whatever it is. Think about that. Florence Scovel-Shinn talks about a woman who very much wanted, now, this is a sign of the times. Most of the women she talks about are talking about wanting partners of some kind. And this woman buys this really beautiful masculine chair because she believes she's going to manifest this partner to come into her life. How can you make a demonstration? And it doesn't have to be like a huge, massive, expensive demonstration. How can you make a demonstration to show, I believe I can do this and I believe I deserve it? And it's an action that's a purely energetic one. Or it can also be an investment as well, but it's nice to also look at the energetic demonstrations as well. So these are the questions. And you can also reflect if there's something that you've done in the past that turns out was a pure demonstration that helped to show, I like to say, show the universe, show spirit, show God, whatever your lingo is, whatever your belief system is, to show that you believe that you can do it and you believe that you deserve it. So in your PDF, which presumably you have, and if you don't, the link is already there. Thank you, Denise. There's a few questions I have for you. Excuse me. Now that you know what the one thing is, that you've sort of boiled it down and you've picked that one thing, what's the cost of inaction on it? It's not always fun to think about. But what is the cost of inaction on it? Knowing this will help you on the days when you start to lose sight of this goal, this vision that you have. The next question that I have for you is, who will keep you accountable? Because some days it doesn't matter how intentional you can be. Some days you're going to lose sight, and having someone there who's outside your forest of evidence is what I talked about earlier, of why you can't do something, or why it's too hard, or why you shouldn't. someone who's outside of that, who's going to help keep you accountable. Who is that person? Do you have someone who you would trust, who you're comfortable with, who you could be vulnerable with when you're having one of those days? And then the last question would be, how will you show up for your business every day? Some days you show up full force, you have an armada behind you, you're ready to go. But some days it doesn't feel that way. And I acknowledge that. I have those days. I'm sure everyone here does. And it's the same with your life. How do you want to show up? What is the intention on a daily basis? What can you work towards? Who are you? And how are you showing up on those days? So having that written down, having it be present for you as you move forward, building a business, scaling a business, making changes in your life. Having that and being intentional about it is a huge piece of that. And I just want to note here though, it's not about force. It's not about forcing your way through, pushing through the struggle, and it's okay. Like, we are going to have struggles. We can do hard things. We are going to go through these things, but beware of action mania. Have you ever gone through that where you're like, okay, I'm going to take this action, this action, this action, this action, this action. You're just doing action after action after action. And you're just going and going and going and pushing and pushing and pushing, forcing and forcing and forcing. And you're met with struggle. You're met with delay. You're met with a whole bunch of stuff because force negates that. Force is negating that within you. And not allowing time to process in order to manifest. And we were talking about this the other day. Imagine if we manifested everything we wanted in the moment. Yee. It would not be great. We need to have that time, that they call it the law of gender, the gestation portion of that. There needs to be a gestation. I used to work at a company where the person I was working for was continually action based. And first, personally, I found it very exhausting. Secondly, there was no gestation period for the ideas and the actions that had been implemented to take hold. And so it was a continual jump of, okay, I've heard about this. Let's try this. Okay, start implementing, start implementing, start implementing. No, okay, it's not working. It's not working. Let's try this. And just going through and taking action, taking action. Action mania. It was continual. And what's the next best thing? The next best thing, the next best thing. What book can I read? What course can I attend? You have to take the time to process and integrate the experiences that you're going through, to take time to go inward. Because if you're continually going, it's a continual outward thing. And this is what we're trying to avoid, that continual outward, taking action, taking action, taking action. Take intentional action and allow time for it to process. Sometimes that's the hardest thing. So I work with some people some clients who will not take any action because it's overwhelming, or they're not sure where to go, or they're uncertain, or there's a fear of failure, a whole bunch of fears and mindset things to unpack. And then I have clients who will continually take action. What's the next thing I can listen to? What's the next book? What's the next? What's the next? What's the next? But there's no processing time. Allow time to process. And this is part of what I'm hoping that everyone will do here, is take the time to process this. Someone shares from Facebook, that has been me taking no action. Hopefully this PDF and what we've talked about on the way here helps you to clarify what that is. What is this block that you're having about taking the action? And you might already know, having gone through, if you've been through here the other days, or you've done the processing yourself, why. So that's when you start to look at what the cost of that inaction is, and how it'll keep you accountable once you make a decisive move towards your action and invest the time in it. So I have questions now for you. Are you ready to take action? How does that feel when I say, are you ready to take action? Does it feel good? Does it feel scary? You don't have to answer, but you can if you want. Oh, someone says, yes, ready to take action. That's great. Doesn't that feel expansive as opposed to constrictive? Yes. Ah, expansive. I'm ready. Feels good. Feels like you're not going to be stuck anymore. And after that, are you ready to take action? Can you see yourself achieving your goals? Person who said they're ready to take action says scary but costly if I don't. And I totally acknowledge that. And that's a very vulnerable answer. So thank you for sharing that because it is scary sometimes, but remembering that it's costly if you don't is an important part of it. So the best thing you can do is set yourself up in a way that when you're investing the energy into this plan that you're developing or that you already have, to have supports around you, and that those supports can be family members who are supportive, friends who are supportive, colleagues if you have them. If you're working with a mentor, if you're working with a coach, going through all of this with them and having that support system again to help you, and they're standing outside your forest of evidence. They're standing outside and they're cheering you on and they're helping you see the forest for the trees, as it were. I would like to make an offer here at this point and reward those who will be taking action if this resonates for you. I have two offers. The first one is a 6-month of group coaching. It's called Align to Prosper, and it will run next year, January 17th, June 17th. And what it includes are monthly group sessions of 90 minutes, weekly meetings of 45 minutes, because that accountability needs to be there. And the great thing about a group program is that it's not just about me, it's about building this community of support around you. You'll get access to all the videos in the client portal in case you miss anything. There'll be an exclusive Facebook group, so not the one that you're watching in right now, but a different one. But it'll include all the current and past members of your coaching group and beyond. You'll get an individualized personality assessment, which I find super helpful to really bring clarity to where you need to work. And I check in with mine regularly of where I need to work. And access to a whole bunch of tools. Also, I'll be having a special guest, Pamela George. She's a financial literacy expert. And she is the reason why my finances are on point. Because finances and I previously did not have a great relationship, and now we are really great in terms of our relationship, and it all has to do with the help that she gave me. And so when I said I wanted to reward people for taking action, I have a special price until December 3rd. For those who are taking action, it's six months of coaching for $17.77, tax in if you pay all at once, or 6 monthly payments of $334.67, which is the tax included price. So that's before December 3rd. And then after that, it becomes $18.88 plus HST, or 6 monthly payments of $355.57. And I'm only taking a limited number of spots for this because I want to make sure that everyone gets what they need out of the program. So if what I've been talking about here resonates, if you want to delve deeper into your business and align so that you can prosper in the next year because you haven't been able to do it yourself so far, what you've been trying hasn't been working, and what I've said resonates, this is the program. And so Denise is going to put the link for that in the chat for the live today. And then I also have another offering, which is a virtual planning day called Clarify to Prosper. And that is a single day on January 14th from 10 in the morning to 4 p.m. and it's virtual. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can join in. And it's going to help continue with what we've talked about over the past few days, but in a more guided structure, because you'll be able to talk to me and talk to other people in the group, where we examine where you are right now, and create solid action items and accountability measures to get you there. You'll get that feedback, and it's just a really great day of being intentional in your business and planning it. And so I don't know if I said it already. It's $188, everything in, and also we'll be putting the link in there soon. If it's not already there, I have to go back and see. Okay, yeah, Denise already put it there. Yay, Denise. This is why it's so much better to do it together. So those are the two offers. You can go to the web pages, read a little bit more about them. If you have any questions, please reach out. My purpose in doing this whole series is to help people start taking action in an intentional way, in a clear path forward. The past 20 months for a lot of the people that I've been in contact with, myself included, have been difficult. There's a lot of emotions attached to what's going on. There's a lot of a feeling of fear, a feeling of scarcity. We've been in it long enough. It's time to take intentional action. It's time to move forward in the belief that we can create the lives that we want, that we have the ability to do that. And regardless of if you decide to take action with me or not, I hope that this series has helped you clarify better and at least see where you are right now, and help you envision where you want to be. It's so important. That growth factor is so important. We have been constricted for 20 months. We need growth factor. We need to feel like we can achieve things and know that we can achieve things and believe we deserve them. So just really important to take some sort of action off the end of this, whether it's with me or whether it's in another direction. I just want you to take action, intentional action, believing that you can do it and believing that you deserve it. So today is not the last day. There is still tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a day where you can come and you can ask any questions that you have of anything that's happened in the past 4 days. Yeah, 4 days. Anything that's come up for you. We'll be taking the time to answer any questions that you have. Also, I have a really, really great meditation to lead everyone through. So we're going to start with the question, the Q&A, and then we're going to lead into the, oh my God, I lost the word. Into the meditation. I was like, vision quest. I'm like, that's not what I wanted to say. Into the meditation so that we can finish the week in a space of processing. It's that important processing part that I was talking about. I've left room for that for us in these 5 days. So I really hope you'll be able to join me tomorrow. And yeah, have any of your questions ready or anything else that has come up for you this week. I'd love to hear how you've been feeling and what's been going on between your ears. Thanks so much. And we'll leave the links up for that. And if you have any questions, again, you can post them in here or you can direct message me. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye, everyone.